BNB Man is back.
Oh, okay, Jay boys, oh my gosh, the man got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. Talk to us, talk to us. Oh, look at that, my God.
This is your boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And I'm here with another Overwatch gameplay. And we're doing something a tad bit early here, folks. And that is this. We are talking about the upcoming NBA season, or to be precise, we are talking about the current NBA off season and all the moves that have been made so far. And there are potentially moves that could be made from this point going forward up until February next year. But because of everything that went down this past off, or not this past off season, but this current off season, this upcoming regular season and playoffs looking real promising right now, folks. I mean, the excitement should be better than last year, and for damn sure the competition should be better than last year. It should be more competitive this time around, because of the amount of moves and the significance of these moves that were made this current offseason. So I have to start off with probably the #1 team that made the biggest splash this offseason. That's the Oklahoma City Thunder out in the Western Conference. So this is a squad that signed Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. Both of them they got through trades, actually. And they pairing these two guys up with the current league MVP in the form of Russell Westbrook, aka Mr. Triple Double, the new Mr. Triple Double. So this guy averaged a triple double for an entire regular season, and really that's why he won MVP, and rightfully so. Yes, James Harden had a phenomenal year, as did what's that? Hey, how I forget his name? Kawhi Leonard. There it is. But you can't go against a guy who averaged a triple-double and still made the playoffs. So, and then you take that guy and you pair him up with one of the best small forwards in the league. Not the best, because that goes to LeBron James. Obviously, Kevin Durant is in that mix as well. But behind those two, who else is there? I have to say there's nobody else there except for Paul George. I mean, you can name a small forward better than Paul George. Leave them in the comment section below, because I cannot think of any. And you pair him with another good small forward in the form of Carmelo Anthony. But the reason why I got Paul George better is because he played defense better than Carmelo Anthony, although Carmelo is lethal offensively. And they talk about doing a scenario where Westbrook would be the point guard as usual, but Paul George as a shooting guard? How tall is he again? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I can't see that one. And they want to keep Carmelo at the small forward position. And that's going to be a problem when they go up against the likes of Kevin Durant and LeBron James, who both played the small forward position. Because again, Carmelo can't play defense unless they flip-flop. But then that would be too weird, because Carmelo more of a small forward, power forward player as opposed to a small forward shooting guard player. So, but let's talk about everything else that the Thunder did. So they also signed in Raymond Felton, who is a pretty good player, and Patrick Patterson, who is a good player. Not, you know, Raymond is okay, but Patterson is good. And of course, Paul George and Carmelo are phenomenal without question. Now they did lose Ty Gibson and Victor Oladipo and Norris Cole, but those are kind of insignificant losses in comparison to who they picked up. So the Thunder are going to be making a lot of noise this year. We talking conference finals, maybe the NBA finals. They need more, like in regards to their depth, to compete with Golden State. But it's almost sky's the limit with the Thunder. Now, another team that was pretty high last year to some degree, and some people thought, or believe rather, that they can't be high this year, that's the Houston Rockets. So basically, the only noticeable thing that Houston did was bring in Chris Paul. So they traded for Chris Paul. And you pair him up with James Harden, who is the MVP runner-up this year, or this past season. That's a pretty good backcourt. That's a pretty good backcourt that can compete with Steph Curry and I forget his name that quick. The Splash Brothers, basically. Klay Thompson, there it is. So that's a pretty good backcourt. The problem is, what did they have to give up to get Chris Paul? That's the question. And who else did they bring in? They brought in Luke Maamude, how you pronounce his name, for free agency. And they drafted this 7'2" guy by the name of Zhu Kui. How you pronounce his name? Again, he's foreign, so I ain't trying to butcher his name or anything like that. And then they also drafted Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't know much about that guy, but they also picked up Tarek Black and Sean Lone, and that's like, I don't know about that one. And also Tim Quarterman and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's okay, but the other three guys, no. But they lost a lot of players. They lost Patrick Beverly. They lost Lou Rims. They lost Sam Decker. They lost a number of guys because of this trade. And two of them they waived. So, and two others they waived. So if you think Houston going to be in the mix of competing for the Western Conference crown, I don't think so. I think they are a step below an elite team. Or they could be an elite team, but not a title contender. So, yeah, there you go with that. I think the Thunder leapfrog Houston, basically. Now, let's move on to a team that not a lot of people are talking about, with the exception of Chris Smoove, and that is the Minnesota Timberwolves. So this team brought in a number of good players. They brought in the likes of Jimmy Butler, Aaron Brooks, Jamal Crawford, Ty Gibson, we were just talking about him, and Jeff Teague. And they pairing those five up with Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and a guy they brought back in Shabazz Muhammad. So that's a pretty good lineup. They got something going right here. Now they did lose Ricky Rubio, Jordan Hill, and Zach LaVine. Two of those they traded, and they waived Jordan Hill. And I'm like, so what? Now will the Timberwolves be in the mix for the conference title out west? No, not when you got the Warriors, the Spurs. Don't forget about the Spurs. Never forget about the Spurs. The Thunder now, and still Houston. I think they could beat Houston, but it'll be close. I think they could beat Houston, but everybody else, those other teams I named, I don't see it happening. The top three out west are the Warriors, the Thunder, and the Spurs. That's the top three. Now, as far as who get that number 4 spot, that could go to the Timberwolves. Now, a team that could be on the rise, I ain't gonna say I hate to admit this, but I'm kind of shocked to admit this, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers. You gotta look at what they're doing here. They brought in Andrew Bogut because of free agency. KCP, who used to play for the Pistons, rather. They brought him in for free agency. And Brook Lopez, who they got with a trade. And they drafted Lonzo Ball, who injured his legs during preseason. So I don't know where he is with that. So we have to stay tuned to that. And they got Stephen Zimmerman, who is a free agent. He's all right, I guess. I don't know. But they did lose Timothy Mozgov, how you pronounce his first name, D'Angelo Russell, and Nick Young. Okay, losing Nick Young, I could care less about when we go to the Lakers. D'Angelo Russell, yeah, that was a big loss, but they replaced him with Lonzo Ball, and they brought in a number of good players in the form of Andrew Bogut, KCP, and Brook Lopez. So, Lakers could potentially make the playoffs this year, and there's nowhere else for them to go but up. So, be on the lookout for the Lakers, especially with Magic Johnson running the show. Be on the lookout for the Lakers. Now, let's go out east. Let's start off with the Boston Celtics. Obviously, we all know about the trade where they basically got rid of Isaiah Thomas for Kyrie Irving, which was a stupid trade in my part because, in my opinion rather, because Isaiah did not want to leave Boston. They had something good in Boston, and I felt like this trade does not help them. It don't hurt them much, but I actually don't hurt them. What's the right word here? It don't help them, but it don't hurt them much. Yeah, I was right the first time. So they got Kyrie. They got Gordon Hayward for free agency. And they brought in Marcus Morris for trade. And Aaron Baines, how you pronounce his name, for trade. And he used to play for the Pistons as well. And he's a good player. But they lost a lot of players, just like Houston did. They lost Avery Bradley. We got him now. They lost Jay Crowder. They lost Gerald Green, who's at the Spurs. Jonas Jerebko, Amir Johnson, Kelly how you pronounce his last name? Olenek. And, of course, I mentioned Isaiah Thomas. They lost a lot of players. And it's going to be interesting. They could still hang on to that number 2 spot, but it may be close. It may be close. As far as, like, you know, them hanging on to the number 2 spot for the likes of the Washington Wizards and the Toronto Raptors. Now, let's look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They didn't give up much with the exception of Kyrie Irving. That's basically That's basically the most noticeable loss that they suffered. But they brought in Isaiah Thomas, at the cost of Kyrie Irving. They got Dwayne Wade from free agency. They got Derrick Rose from free agency. They got Jose Calderon from free agency. They got Jeff Green from free agency. And I just mentioned this already. They got Jay Crowder from trading with the Celtics. So the Cavs are going to unfortunately remain the #1 seed. Now, the interesting question is, what happens when they go to the NBA Finals, lose yet again? Does LeBron leave to go to the Lakers? Because, like I said, with the Lakers, there's nowhere else for them to go but up. And they got a pretty good lineup. Imagine LeBron James playing with the likes of Andrew Bogut, Brook Lopez, KCP, and Lonzo Ball. Imagine that starting lineup. That could do something. That could do something there. And I mentioned some former Piston players' names. Let's talk about the Pistons, because the Pistons didn't exactly bend over and just let the offseason went by them. They got Avery Bradley because of the trade. They brought in Langston Galloway for free agency. They brought in Anthony Tolliver for free agency. And they drafted the best shooter in this year's NBA draft in Luke Kennard. Yes, they did lose Marcus Morris, Aaron Baines, how you pronounce the name, and KCP. But I think it's looking up for him. Especially they got this 7-foot guy on their squad that I think going to play. He's going to ball because he's just too tall, man. So, and here's the thing with the East. The East is getting weaker again because all the major superstars are going out rest. Let's look at the names. Carmelo Anthony, Paul George. Let's see, Jimmy Butler. Let's see. There's a number of these guys going out rest. KCP, even though he's not a big superstar name, but he's out rest. Brook Lopez, he's like an all-star, if at best. He's out rest. And there's a number of players who are going out west. And yeah, it's opened the door for new, younger talent out east. But the East, and for a playoff spot, they're right open. Let's be real here. As we're getting close to the end of this video. It's Cleveland, it's the Celtics, it's the Raptors, it's the Wizards. Those are the top 4. But everything else on down is up for grabs. The Pistons going to get a spot because the Pacers are not going to do much. The Bulls are not going to do much because they lost Dwayne Wade, Rajon Rondo, and Jimmy Butler. And Charlotte could do something. So I think they'll get a playoff spot. Atlanta lost Paul Millsap. He's out rest. So I don't expect them to do much. And like I said, the East, the bottom brackets of the East is wide open. And for some of these teams, like the Pistons and the Charlotte Hornets or Bobcats or whatever they call themselves now, I don't know what they call themselves. But anywho, there's nowhere else for them to go but up at this point. So yeah, there you go with that, man. And of course, we did our thing in this game. So, and of course, I always do my thing in Overwatch, man. Y'all know me. So yeah, with all that out the way, man, y'all know who this is. This is the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.